My female 25, sister-in-law 23, and brother-in-law 30 moved in with us, and she's 4 months pregnant. Whenever she uses the bathroom, she'd ask me to go in and clean it prior because she's always nauseous, and any unwanted sight like stains on the toilet could trigger her upset stomach. I agreed because I'm too nice to tell a struggling pregnant woman to buzz off with her unreasonable request. This has been going on for 4 months. I get told to grin and bear and smile and be warm and welcoming, and I am. I swear I am. But it all came to head yesterday. My brother-in-law was out and came back to use the bathroom quickly. My sister-in-law pulled me out of the kitchen and begged me to clean it because her husband just used it and most likely left stains all over the seat since he can't aim right. I gave her a, "He sure knows how to aim in other areas though," look, as she told me she needed to pee right then, and I said fine and went to clean the bathroom. My husband, 32, showed up, asking what I was doing while cleaning the toilet, feeling disgusted. I stopped and vented to him about how his sister is milking her pregnancy, and I asked when she and her husband are going to get their own place. He casually responded with, "I don't know, can't really tell, and it'd be rude to ask, so I guess we'll just have to wait it out. Now get back to work." I stared and he asked, "What?" I threw the brush and yelled at him that cleaning the stupid bathroom isn't my job, and he was overstepping by implying that it was. He shushed me, saying his sister could hear me, but I said I didn't care anymore, and that if he felt so strongly about this cause, then he should be cleaning the bathroom every time she needed to use it, or I don't know, get her husband to do it maybe. He said that I knew he wanted to help, but his germophobia is making him feel helpless. He begged me to finish cleaning, but I stormed off to my room and locked myself inside. The next thing I heard was his sister complaining about not being able to use the bathroom since I wasn't done cleaning. Then she was forced to use it anyway and ended up throwing up later. My husband then argued with me, saying, "See, she got sick and threw up because you refused to finish cleaning," and said it was just a toilet and I overreacted. He then reminded me that his sister was struggling and told me to put myself in her shoes and asked if that's how I wanted to be treated. I said I was fed up and that I didn't have to do any of this if it wasn't for the goodness of my heart, and that cleaning the stupid bathroom for his pregnant sister wasn't and is not and will no longer be my job, period. He got mad, saying I was putting him between a rock and a hard place, and again said I'm too sensitive, and if I'm really a person with a good heart, I'll do my best to help his pregnant sister, but I did my best refusal. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Her husband can clean up his mess right after he uses the bathroom. As a matter of fact, if it's such a problem, why don't they all clean it right after they each use it? This is ridiculous, and I would be fed up as well. What is wrong with this entire family? These lazy, childish men should be cleaning up after themselves, and the sister-in-law needs to grow up. She sounds like she's giving birth to the second coming. The OP needs to tell them all to get lost and see to themselves. She's not a slave. Dear OP, I can see from here that you are instantly developing a very intense case of germophobia that will hereafter prevent you from dealing with anyone else's germ-laden or not toilet seats, your dear husband included. It would be best if you immediately informed your husband of this early onset, as well as instructed him that it's his job to inform sister-in-law and brother-in-law that this terrible disease has proven contagious. Husband can take up the slack by doing all such cleaning chores arising on demand from sister-in-law. If he's a stellar brother, he can accompany brother-in-law to the loo each time to help him learn how to aim. OP, you are being played by all of them. Normal people would agree that every person cleans after using. Each person, men who can't aim, germaphobes, pregnant women. This is insane, and I'm so worried about what else you accept as normal if you have been the maid for a month now. Sorry, dear, your husband and brother-in-law are idiots, unable to take care of their women. If I were you, I would visit your parents or a friend for a couple of months and only return when guests are gone. I, 25 male, have 2 brothers, 27 and 19. When I was 17, my older bro decided to spontaneously move out to study abroad and explore the world, allegedly. He kept in and out of contact before eventually cutting contact with us so he could do things on his own. It was very hard for us. Flash forward, I am engaged to my longtime girlfriend, 26, and my little brother also has a longtime girlfriend, 19. We hadn't heard from Big Bro, but we had kind of gotten over it at this point. Until around December 2020, when one night after a small party, my older bro shows up with a wife and 2 kids. We were all shocked. We didn't know he was married, let alone had 2 children. He told us that he was moving back since he was done traveling and that he wanted his wife and kids to meet his family. I'm not going to lie, it was really hard to just suddenly accept this whole thing, though I tried. We decided to have a family dinner once he settled down at his new house, and immediately it was a disaster. Sister-in-law didn't like my fiance, nor my little bro's girlfriend, and would subtly nag at them and interrupt their story so she could one-up them with her own. I could tell this was really bothering them. My fiance constantly denied this, though, and said she was probably just having a rough time. After the dinner, my little bro privately messaged me about how uncomfortable his girlfriend was and how sister-in-law was a witch. I told him maybe that sister-in-law was just having a bad night or had a rough time with the move, and that we shouldn't judge her so quickly. I was wrong. For all of 2021, my sister-in-law tormented my fiance, little bro's girlfriend, and even our mother. She would nag them about their appearances, outfits, cooking, basically anything she could, and then would boost herself up, talking about herself and how good she was at everything. It was annoying. I tried to say something multiple times but was shot down. Recently, my fiance got pregnant. She has some fertility issues, and we hadn't been actively trying for a baby, but we were still happy nonetheless because we thought it might have never happened. So we planned a dinner to announce the pregnancy to the rest of the family, our grandparents, aunts, and uncles. At the dinner, we announced the pregnancy. After a few congratulations from family members, sister-in-law stood up from her seat and fainted. When she woke up, she claimed that she was so overwhelmed and upset because she was about to announce her 3rd pregnancy, and we took her special moment away from her. This was the final straw for me. I couldn't hold it back anymore. I immediately started going off on her, bringing up everything she's done within the last few months. I'm not going to lie, I also threw in some nasty comments about her. Sister-in-law looked stunned, and almost everyone else did as well. My fiance and I left afterwards. I don't think I'm an idiot, but some family members are on her side and said what I did was unnecessary, and I should apologize to her. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but how attached are you to your big bro? Is he worth putting up with sister-in-law? Is he worth putting your future wife through it? Does your little brother feel the same way? It might be time to resume maintaining the level of communication that Big Bro set a wife and 2 kids ago. I know people are quick to say go no contact, but this is a guy who showed up a year ago after ghosting for 7 years. Personally, I wouldn't be too attached to the dude who came back with a nightmare sister-in-law disturbing the life I had built in his absence. Some people are so full of themselves when they're full of crap. Unfortunately, your sister-in-law is one of them. Nothing is prohibiting the sister-in-law from planning another dinner to announce her pregnancy. However, she was rude to usurp attention from your good news at a dinner you planned by fainting and announcing her pregnancy. Yes, I also think she faked the fainting. The way I read this, you planned the dinner, but the dinner was at your parents' place? If so, you should apologize to your parents for going off at their place, but definitely not to sister-in-law and your older brother. Who stands up to faint? Nobody. The question is sister-in-law actually pregnant? Has this been verified? My prediction, at the fiance's baby shower, sister-in-law will start crying because of her loss. OP, it sounds like this family wants to rug sweep. Also, the fact that your big brother didn't even send a marriage announcement or birth announcement speaks about sister-in-law as a very controlling lady, or big bro only came back because it was convenient. After all, he wanted the attention. My wife and I have been married for 5 years, and we have 2 beautiful boys that we have been saving for college and intend to pay for it should they go. We make a combined income of $300K, so money isn't much of an issue. I recently found that my in-laws intend to have our boys inherit their houses when they grow up. My in-laws are very wealthy and plan to leave around $1 million in property to the boys. I was so happy until I found out it was because my wife and I didn't have a prenup. She never asked for one, and I didn't want one, so we entered joint finances, and I made a bit more. We both own property separately, as well as our current home, but it turns out my wife wants the boys to inherit the money because it couldn't be contested if something happens between us. I'm shocked because there are no issues with our marriage, and I never even thought about what might happen if we split, but apparently she has, and told me she wants our sons to have my in-laws' money rather than her, so it can safely be their inheritance. She doesn't need the money, so it's not a monetary issue, but the fact she's thought about keeping her family's money in the family concerns me. She doesn't see it as a lack of trust. She sees it as a great inheritance in our children, but I know my in-laws don't like me too much and are concerned I would go after their property if we broke up. That would never happen, but my wife agreeing with them has me questioning why. She told me it was because her family prefers the money to go to her children, as she's already successful. She is getting their house, the one her parents currently live in, but that's more of a sentimental value. She refuses to discuss it, saying it's between her and her parents, and I'm very upset she's thought to keep her inheritance undisputed, since it looks like she doesn't trust me. I don't want their money and never thought of it as mine, but apparently she's concerned because it could be contested if it was turned into liquid assets, aka money. That's why she's getting the house, her childhood home, because I know she would never sell it. The other houses and land she probably wants to sell and give to our sons, thereby ensuring I can't touch it. But the fact she's even thought of this makes me question why. You are the idiot. It's their money. They can do what they want with it. The parents' reasoning kinda sucks, but since they don't like you, it makes sense to them because why would they risk having their money go to someone they don't like? And think of it this way, if your wife didn't agree, they would be within their right to cut her and your kids out entirely. Depending on the inheritance laws in your state, the money would have been your wife's anyway, and she would have likely left it to the kids anyway. You say you don't want their money anyway? Just let it go. Be happy that your kids will have this great gift to enable them to have a good life. Not the idiot, but I truly don't know what to say. It is between her and her parents, but I completely understand why you feel offended. She is your family, and I'm surprised that she openly agrees with your parents. As you stated, there is no issue in your marriage, but I think she just caused one. Yikes! Your wife has just told you that you don't have a say in your children's finances. The issue is that your wife doesn't consider you an equal financial partner. OP, if you know anything about divorces, as unromantic and cringy as it may feel, everyone should have prenups. It would make so many things so much easier. I married the love of my life, no prenup. Then she went crazy, diagnosed. It has taken me over 5 years to divorce her, and I'm getting screwed. Why? No prenup. Did I do anything wrong? Nope. Get over yourself. It is their right to protect their wealth. So, a few months back, I hooked up with this girl. It was a casual Tinder date, and afterward, I tried to see if we could get together for a date or something. She blew me off and never messaged me back. Come today when I saw her pop up in my suggestions on Instagram. So I clicked her profile, and to my shock, her posts were filled with her boyfriend. And to make it worse, she had just posted only a couple of hours ago about her 5-year anniversary with him. I was super angry, and to be honest, I wasn't really thinking when I commented under the post, 5 years? Is that why we hooked up 3 months ago? The comment ended up staying up for a couple of hours and getting hearts and people commenting stuff like, what? Or this can't be real. When she saw it, she immediately deleted it and messaged me. She asked me what the heck was wrong with me, and I asked her the same thing. She then told me she was in an open relationship, and now all her friends and family think she's a cheater, and she has to tell everyone the truth. I told her that's her fault for not disclosing it to me, and she told me she didn't have to explain anything about her life to me because I was nothing but a guy she slept with one time. Am I the idiot here? Everyone's the idiot here. You publicly shamed her because you were annoyed at being ghosted. If you were just after an explanation, you should have messaged her privately rather than blasting her on social media. This was revenge, plain and simple. That said, I think she owed it to you and whoever else she may go out with to tell you that she's in a committed, open relationship. You should have the choice of whether or not you're comfortable with that dynamic, and she didn't allow you to consent fully. You are the idiot. You went into stalker mode because a casual hookup didn't respond to further advances. I don't believe for a second that she just randomly popped up in your suggestions without you having tried at some point to search for her. She didn't owe you an encore or an explanation for why she didn't want to see you again. That's part of the allure for the semi-anonymous encounter. If she had wanted to see you again, then she would have owed you a disclosure about her relationship status. But for a one-and-done hookup, there was no need to discuss personal details. I've known my husband, and subsequently his best friend, for 6 years. They're childhood friends. His BFF, let's call him Andrew, is what you'd call a lovable idiot. He's really funny and a good friend to my husband, but also a complete man-child. As I said, Andrew is fun to be around, but doesn't have the best judgment. Throughout the years, he's blown his money on toys, motorcycle, four-wheelers, etc., and only has $2,000 saved up. So last week, he approached my husband, asking if he could move in with us for the next 9 months to save money. He said he couldn't save much each month due to the cost of his rent, and he's really wanting to finally start saving and accumulate some funds for a down payment on a house and save enough to pay off some of the loans he took out for his toys. I love Andrew. He was the best man at our wedding, but I don't think I could tolerate living with him. Because they're childhood friends, he and my husband act like teenagers whenever Andrew comes around. They drink, play video games, wrestle with each other. It's like a middle school bromance. I think it's hilarious and all in good fun when it's just once a week or bi-weekly that they're hanging out, but I don't think I could handle it for 9 months. To top it all off, my husband and I just had a baby who is barely 6 months old yet. I just want my husband and I to focus on our family and the big adjustments that come in the first couple of years of having our first baby. When I told my husband no, I could tell he was disappointed, and he tried to argue with me about it. I'm starting to feel bad because, as I said, Andrew is a good friend, and I'm sure I would let my husband live with him if the roles were reversed. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If you let Andrew in, he may never leave. Don't expect him to change his spending habits just because he's living with you and no longer needs to pay rent. Most likely he'll be a drain on your finances, and he won't be able to move out, since he'll never accumulate enough funds to pay off his loans and put a down payment on a house. That 9 months could turn into years. Dear, tell your husband what's really up. His friend wants to take money away from your child. Every dime you spend on this guy, and it will be plenty, could be going into a savings account for your child for future educational opportunities, for sports or extracurricular activities, for medical emergencies. How would your husband handle it if your child needed a medical intervention of some kind, but you couldn't afford it because you're subsidizing his buddy's lifestyle? Jesus, what if your husband lost his job? Do you honestly think Scooter McPoor-Choices would step in and cover him? Sometimes friends are best taken in small servings. Living with them would destroy the friendship. Also, you have a newborn. You are 100% correct that your husband's focus should be on the family and not playing video games with his BFF. Husband doesn't want Andrew to stay to help him. Hubby wants Andrew to stay because it'll be fun. For him, not you.